You're listening to the Gettin' Salty Experience podcast.
Oh boy, and away we go. We are back. Pete's ready. Look who's back, Pete. Welcome back.
Hello.
Well, he's back. He's my best buddy in the whole world. He's the Barney Rubble to my Fred. He's the Robin to my Batman.
Well, I got to be Robin.
He's the Norton to my Ralph.
Because Batman drives the
right.
Batmobile.
That's Batmobile.
He's the peanut to my butter. He's my buddy, my lifelong chum. He's back. Louis Ruffy Raffrano. Back to
What's up?
Hey, there he is. All right, so
we're back to the firehouse kitchen table because this podcast is the only one that brings guys from the 60s, hard-charging ghetto truck firefighters from the 60s to the kitchen table to you. You ain't getting this at no, pin the P or whatever it is, bro. You ain't getting it.
Thank God we got Francis on, bro. I don't know how much longer he's got, that guy. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. Any day now.
I got to ask a question here. Hold on. Louis,
why am I so good looking?
What was it like hanging out this weekend with Elon and J-Lo and all the other folks?
All right, so you ready? You're not even going to believe this because I didn't even tell you guys yet.
What happened?
You bring that up. So I'm walking out. We're walking into this restaurant to go to dinner. Pretty hoity-toity, place.
Oh.
And I look up and I see this woman walking towards us. Black gentleman, like Spanish, white, I can't really tell, but she's walking towards us and they're just fabulous. They're tremendous. They're fabulous. I don't even know what, there's a lot of adjectives I could use. Yeah. So I'm kind of looking at her and I know my wife now has spotted those, right? As they're walking, like they're only,
Where are you, by the way?
We're in Montauk.
Oh, Montauk. Okay.
So all of a sudden, I can get my eyeballs off of these things, and I'm not a boob guy, but I can get my eyeballs off of them just enough to look over.
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Oh, hey, what's going on, man? How you doing?" He goes, "Hey, brother, what's happening?" I'm like, "Hey, good to see you." It's Cuba Gooding Jr.
Come on, really?
I swear to God. And so my wife, we go back to we were with like 5 couples, so we go back and we tell them what happened. So my wife's like, yeah. I'm like, listen, Google Cuba up and see if the woman comes up like
as his wife or something. Yeah.
I don't know if it's his wife or his girl, but they're the boobs like right there. So Petey's I know he's gonna be Googling that right now.
Yeah. I'm working on that.
Well, more importantly, does he watch the show? I mean, did you throw that out there?
He kind of went by, I'm not really one of those guys that likes to latch on to anybody. The guy's just hanging out with his lady, and I don't want to be that guy. So
you were just like, hey, brother.
That's it. He caught me by surprise, but he did laugh. Like he chuckled. I'm like, hey, I look up. I'm like, yeah. So, hey,
he filed. You know what? He must have. He married his high school sweetheart, Sarah Kapfer, but he's filing for divorce after 22 years.
Fresh one. This is my wife.
This is somebody new.
He's got a fresh one.
No, but she found it.
Where is it?
As soon as she found it.
Come on, Pete. His wife found it.
His girlfriend. Girlfriend. Look up girlfriend.
Okay, girlfriend. Did you ask him, by the way? Did you say to him, help me help you, Cuba Gooding?
Did he say, show me the money? That's what Petey says every quarter when Louis hasn't sent him a check. Louis, show me the money.
I do.
Louis, show me the money. It's a new quarter. Where's my money?
Show me the money. I love the Italian man. Show me the money. All right, hold on.
Then he pulls the Maury. Louis, I just want my fucking money. It's my money. I want my money. Just send me my money. It's my money. I just want my money.
Okay, hold on. Now I do see what you're saying here. The cantaloupes here. Hold on.
I would go with cantaloupe. They look, but they weren't. They looked.
What, natural?
I'm gonna pull them up.
Like Seinfeld. They're fabulous. They're real and they're spectacular.
Yeah, they're really nice.
Now, were these the breasts that we were talking about here?
That could have been. She looks a little old there. She didn't look that
like
old.
She's 82 years old.
She looks a little old there.
Nah, she's packing babooms. You know what I'm saying?
Huh.
No,
maybe. I don't know. Well, hey.
That looks like a cross between Dolly Parton and Mary Jo Buttafuoco. Who the hell is that?
Mary Jo Buttafuoco.
How do you even pull that out?
Dude.
Yeah, I don't know.
Actually, it was like recently. It was like it was the anniversary of all that madness. Wild.
Was it? Really?
Yeah, it was. Yeah. Something about and the Long Island Lolita, and I was reading the whole article on it.
Come on.
Whatever. Yeah, it was funny to just
sleeping
even
back
see.
there.
You know what? How about this? You ready? Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Mary Jo Buttafuoco.
Boom!
Ah, here it is. Bam!
Mary Jo Buttafuoco. Oh, bam! Oh my God!
Did she have like a face was like that? Something?
Well, she was all messed up after that.
Yeah.
Her face was like,
She got shot.
she
in the
was
butt,
like,
bro.
you ever see when duck season, rabbit season,
His bill gets thrown
and
on
his
his
bill
head.
gets thrown to the side? That's what happened to Mary Jo.
It did. What a shame, bro. But she took him back, I think.
I don't know, man. That shit's
Crazy.
a fucking mess. It's a perfect Long Island
Yeah.
relationship. That's all I can tell you.
All right, bro.
All right.
Hey, did you get the picture I sent you of me? Did you get that picture today?
I got a video.
I
some
saw the
crazy
video that Hoppy
That
sent.
wasn't you.
Oh my God, dude. That
Did you
was
post? I sent it to you so you can post it. You didn't
the
send
video. The video that Hoppy sent?
Yeah, I said this is me, bro. It has to be. Pete should have said it.
That
You
was
have
not
to
you.
have that.
No, I didn't get that one.
That was not
Yes,
you.
you did. The one that Hoppy sent, the video.
That's what I'm saying. Hoppy sent that.
Oh
You didn't send
God,
it.
I sent it to Pete though. I said you got to.
Oh.
It's
I'm
me.
saying you.
No,
I
I
think
said
you
all you said in that. Okay, Kevin thinks things, and then he thinks that he sent somebody something, and he said something. He knows he said it, and I can pull it up right now. He goes, "It's me." He didn't say
Dude,
post.
I'm giving you a bunt. I'm like, dude, I figured you would use
it looked like your
First of
son,
all-
actually.
First of all, it was a guy who looked nothing like you, punching one of those stupid punching machines with his head.
You gotta
It
send
looked
this,
nothing like you, and
I
then
don't
you go,
know. I'll
"It's
post
me."
it
And
tomorrow,
I
Pete. I'll
actually,
post it tomorrow.
I really thought for a second that it was like a spam guy, like someone.
All right,
hacked
let's
your
go.
account.
It's 7. We got. Let's move on here.
Yeah,
All right,
please,
7
let's move
minutes.
on.
Pete, do the commercials for Christ's sake. Will you something? Will you?
We're gonna
Jesus
do.
Christ.
We already did the commercial this week. Now we have.
Those guys might be sleeping back there. Or
we
something.
have
I
the
don't know
old
what
school. We have the old school commercial today. That's all we got. So,
Oh,
but,
we
but
can
you know
do
what we
it.
can do? I'll tell you real quick.
You got to do
Getting salt. Oh no, sorry guys. GettinSaltyApparel.com. GettinSaltyApparel.com is where we support ourselves on the show. The finest firefighter apparel and accessories in the game. So, guys, if you want something for yourself or the nice firefighter in your life, go check us out there. Guys, tonight in the super chat, hit us up. You got a question, you got a comment, hit us up in the super chat. Or if you just want to throw us a few shekels, that's nice too. And if you're watching this after the show is not live, post-mortem, watch it and hit us up in the super thanks. Anything that you guys throw our way, we appreciate. You guys are our number one sponsors and syndicators. And that is all.
Oh, great job. All right. All right, we have two guests. Who are we bringing in first? Which
I
one?
think we bring in
the old one or the really old one? Which guy?
The old one first.
All right, here he goes. Everybody knows him. Great guy. He's our senior man. So tonight we actually have our senior man and his senior man. But first, let's bring in our senior man if he's still awake out there and his internet is still good. Bring him in, Pete. Here he is.
Hank Molay!
There he is.
Good evening, Leatherhead Nation. And Kevin, I have to say, you had a couple of funny ones there in the beginning there with the Goodfellas and a couple of other things. So I guess
You're laughing a little bit.
Today.
Go home and get your fucking shine box.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what? Every once in a while, even a blind squirrel finds a nut. You know,
Maury's wigs don't
It's
come
always
off.
good to be here. Thank you.
And listen, we had you on tonight because not only because you are the senior dude, but we had the senior dude on tonight. Right?
Yes, you do.
Hank fed it to us. Let's bring him in here, bro. Great guy. Got on in the 60s, 1966 to be exact. I'll bet you one of you fuckers in the chat weren't even born yet, bro. 1966.
I wasn't.
Let's bring him.
I'm not
You
even
what?
in the chat.
You're not. All right. Bring in the senior dude, Pete. Here he is.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Frank Ancona.
There he is.
How we doing?
He's still there.
It's a Francis.
Hey, there's my Proby right here.
Ah,
There
I
you
don't
go.
know, I'll tell you what, I don't know if it's my best Proby, but he was one of the good ones.
wow. What
Guys,
happened?
and by the way, everybody in the
But
chat,
you know his name, right? Molly the Volley?
Molly the Volley.
Did you know that?
Hazel, Molly the Volley.
Molly the Volley.
That's it.
Everybody in the chat, just who knows the history of the show, we did not plan to have both Hank and Frank on at the same time. It just sort of happened naturally, Hank and Frank. So they are actually two separate people. They're not the same person as everyone might think.
All right, before we get into the weeds here, we got to get paid. Where's Susie? She's not screaming. She's not in here tonight. She's not screaming the pledge.
She's okay wherever you are, Susie.
I hope you're all right, Susie. I'm not giving the breath.
She's shaving her legs. She's probably.
I'll give the. No way. I ain't giving a Pete's giving the breaths. Junior man gives the breaths.
Whatever I got to do.
Stay away from the light.
That's not funny, man.
Don't come into the light, Caroline. All right, Pete. Do the.
Ladies and gentlemen, as you know, we're the most patriotic show in the game, and as always, we are going to say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Wonderful.
Awesome.
Pete, Rook, before we get into it, did you watch the show that you were absent for?
I did not.
All right, so maybe you want to watch it because I had an apology to make. Rookie. I fessed up when I was wrong. When you're wrong, you're wrong. It takes a man to admit he's wrong.
Live
so
on
watch
TV?
Yeah, you know why it was better? Because you weren't there. I didn't have to look at your ugly mug. Give me the. I know you were. So watch the show.
All right, I'll check it out.
Yeah. All right, so let's get right into the senior man's career, bro. But before we got on the job, right? Let's give us a little early background. Where you're from, where you grew up, any family in the job, Frank?
All right. Well, I born and raised in Brooklyn, New York, from Italian parents. Sicilian,
all right, Rocco!
Sicilian to be exact. Grew up kind of a poor family. My father was a longshoreman, and as a kid, I did the usual shit with my buddies: stickball, punchball, everything that's done in the street.
Punchball.
Growing up, knew nothing about a fireman. Was never in a firehouse. Didn't even know what civil service meant. So I was kind of
a newbie.
I knew. I'll tell you what. I didn't know what direction my life was going in as a kid growing up.
But you knew one thing, right? Every Sunday you had pasta and meatballs, though, right?
Was it sauce or gravy at the house?
Gravy with meat.
Gravy with the meat.
You know what?
I'm 25% Sicilian. You may not know that.
Hold on.
Really?
Because of that, I'm contractually obligated to play this music now. I don't understand. I don't think you understand that Kevin has recently discovered his Sicilian side.
I don't say Sicilian. I say Siciliano. Siciliano.
So I don't know if they had this back in the day at the Sunday dinner table, but did they have the word of the day?
You know he was doing it.
Come on, you can't leave.
All right, ladies and gentlemen.
Word of the day.
You caught me slipping, but not for long, ladies and gentlemen. Not for long. The word of the day today is Miss Piggy.
We did not get that from Hank.
So you got to give us a little bit of info on that. What's that about, Francis?
I'll tell you what. You guys got me. You got me going good here. I'm not sure what this Miss Piggy means.
What? Wait, let me refresh your memory then, because I talked to a little.
Say that again.
Let me refresh your memory, because I talked to a little birdie, and little birdie said that you once had a VW van. Is that correct? That looked like the Muppets van.
I had a Volkswagen Westphalia.
Right.
That was I picked it up in Germany, drove it in Europe for like 2 months.
Then you drove all the way back here from Germany? You drove all the way from Germany? Damn,
I drove all through Europe with it for 2 months.
What year was this, Frank?
That was in That was in 84 and 85.
Well, Frank, I'm not sure if you're aware of this,
got
but
pictures, right,
we
Pete?
do a lot of research on this show.
I can see
So
that.
we actually dug deep into the well here, and we've got pics of your van right there. There it is,
That's
and
not
some
it.
and some of your
That's not
buddies and some of your buddies when you
Oh,
were
yeah,
rolling around with them.
Those are the guys in the engine. Yeah, you're
And
right.
we actually, and what's funny is, I don't know if you knew this, but we actually, and I know it's a little early to bring this up, but we do have a picture of you and Hank. We have a picture of him and Hank.
It's actually Frank's retirement dinner.
Here it is. Yeah. Hank Molay's on the left. He's got the mustache.
Oh, that's freaking too much, man.
That's
Okay.
great, guys.
Oh my
And your
god.
point?
Oh my god. Okay. All right. Enough shenanigans. Let's get back to
Kill
the
myself, Brian. Kill myself.
to the program.
So let's get.
What's the matter with you? Look at Coombs. He's
You dick.
All right. Let's go back to the 60s. Let's go back to the 60s again. So you didn't even know nothing about the fire department, but you do go into the Marines, correct?
I went to the Marines because my life was going nowhere. And growing up, my hero was Gil Hodges from the Brooklyn Dodgers.
Get out of town.
And he was a Marine. And I says, well, I got to change my life around. I went into the Marine Corps, and I made two best moves in my life: Marine Corps and the fire department, and never looked back. So
Where'd you go? Where'd you go in the Marine Corps, Frank?
I was in the 2nd Marine Division, 10th Battalion, headquarters company down in Lejeune. So I was in a comm battalion. My actual job was to put up telephone poles.
Really?
Yeah, and string wire from one pole to the other.
I don't know if you saw those commercials all over TV, but
Yeah, about the
down in
Lejeune?
Camp Lejeune, don't drink
Yeah,
the water.
yeah. I'm involved in the class action suit.
Are you really?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, good for you, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pete drank the water. He didn't even know it. Look at him.
now I'm doing this. See, that's where it leads. All roads lead here.
So what leads you to take the test then?
Well, I'll tell you what. My dad was a longshoreman.
Right.
All right, and he worked down at Brooklyn Docks. And one of the guys working down there was a fireman working part time. He was in 228 engine. He used to tell my father, "Hey, I'll tell your son to take this test, that test, this test." So I took the 61 test, and they called me. They called me to come in the 66 class, and that's what it's all about. I turned it down twice.
You did?
Oh yeah, because I had a job with Xerox, and it was a growing company, and I didn't want to leave. And when he called me the 3rd time, I went to my dad says, "You better take it, or else you're never going to go on the fire department." And this guy that was prompting my dad down the docks, tell him, "Take the job. It's a great job. This and that and this." I said, "All right, let me go and talk to my boss." So I went into my boss in Xerox. I says, "Listen," I said, "I got an offer to go on our fire department." I says, "What do you think?" He says, "Well, Frank," he goes, "my brother-in-law is a New York City fireman, and it's a good job." He says, "We're a growing company here." And he says, "If you don't like it, we'll give you 6 months. You can always come back." With that,
Perfect.
Yeah.
it was a no-brainer.
That's a
Now you when you went to the academy, it wasn't down at
It was in
Randall
Roosevelt
Island.
Island.
Oh, it was?
Welfare Island, yeah.
Roosevelt Island is when I went on the job. Yeah.
Oh, Roosevelt Island. I'm sorry.
Roosevelt Island. That's
Wasn't
where the
down at
academy
Randall.
was, right?
Oh, wow.
Just prior to me going on, they used to do the ladders. The ladders was done like on 68th Street in the city somewhere, and the engine
Oh,
was done
16 truck.
by 16 truck. Yeah,
Yeah. That's what the ladder.
and but I think I was the first or second class that went through Roosevelt Island. Maybe 1 year before me went through Roosevelt Island. So
How long was the academy then, Frank?
let me see. I went in early March. I got out in the beginning of June, but I didn't go right to 132. I had to do 6 weeks BI in ladder 148
Oof.
Oh,
BI.
shit.
in class A's. No less.
Class A's. For how long did you say that was? 6 months?
6 weeks.
Oh,
Oh,
6 weeks.
Oh.
6 weeks doing BI for 148
Were
truck.
you actually checking buildings? Like you were going in? Like what were you doing?
They gave me a whole shitload of cards. I had to go to these addresses and check to see if there was a oil burner, gas burner, fire escape, all the rest of that good shit.
6 minutes is more than Louis can stand. Forget about 6 weeks.
And I'll tell you a short story. When I left Proby school, well, let me just go back to Proby school. This guy that gave my dad the heads up and eventually got me to go on a job, kept asking my father, ask your son where he wants to go. So not knowing anything about the firehouse, I didn't have a fucking clue where I wanted to go. So one day I'm coming back from Proby school. I'm in my Proby uniform, and this fireman who lives a couple of doors away from me sees me. He goes, "Hey kid, how's it going? How you doing?" So on and so forth. Blah blah blah. He says, "Yeah, do you have any idea where you want to go?" I said, "I don't have a clue." He says, "Why don't you come over to my firehouse one night and see what it's all about? Have some dinner with us." I said,
Nice.
"Okay, fine." So we arranged it. I go over to. He worked in 172 truck in Brooklyn on 65th and 23rd. So I went over there one night. I said, "Holy shit! The whole firehouse is Italian to begin with. They're making this great meal, and I'm sitting there. I said, man, this is what the fire department's all about. I'm loving it."
Like Xerox. Who gives a shit about Xerox?
We're eating a great meal. There's guineas all over the place. I don't know what the hell is going on.
So eventually I tell my dad where I want to go. He puts it to this guy, Aldo. Aldo puts in the word, "Yeah, tell your son he's going to 172. So now, like a retard, I'm fucking telling everybody in Proby school I'm going to 172. That's better.
First mistake.
Sure enough, the order comes out and it says 132. So I thought, this got to be a typo. This can't be right. I have no idea where 132 is. I find out where I have to go. I go to 132. I knock on the door. This big black guy comes out. His name is Sims Jones. Great guy. So, "Hey, Ancona, come on in." I says, "You know what? I don't think I should be here. I should be at 172.
Oh, yeah, that's not good. Mistake number 2. Holy shit.
That's how I started my career in St. John's Place.
Yeah, great job.
Yeah,
I don't understand this. Aldo said I was going to 172. So I don't know what the fuck I'm doing here, but I won't be here long.
Nobody gave you any heads up to keep your mouth shut. Don't say a
Not-
goddamn
Didn't
thing.
have any
Not
family.
at all, Louis. Not at all.
Shit.
I had no idea. I had no idea about the pretense of the fire department. I believe
That's
it.
freaking awesome.
None.
This is great because
And I paid for it for like 2 or 3 years down the road.
Ah, yeah.
Of course.
Oh, forget it.
us young guys never heard any of these stories.
I know that.
It's the first time I'm hearing some of this stuff. I think
I
it's
got a
great.
lot of shit you don't know. Believe me.
I got a lot of shit you don't know.
See, I heard when Hank went to 132, he knocked on the door. He said, "I don't know if you guys know, but I'm fucking going to Rescue 1. I'm out of here soon."
I'm not supposed to be here.
That's how my career started. 132.
And I don't like to be called Frank either.
Yeah. Aldo said I was going to Rescue 1, so I don't know what the fuck you guys.
Oh my god, that's freaking awesome.
Wow.
Wow.
That's great.
He's right.
All right, so Ruffy, ask him the question. Give it to him.
All right, Francis. So how long after you get there do you catch your first job?
Well, I'll tell you what, Louis. My first run was a 9-2. My second run we located at 120. My third one was a second alarm. Back in 66. Right?
What was the neighborhood like there in 66,
It
Frank?
was a shithole, like it still is today.
All right.
So anyway, we're up on the roof.
Do us a favor. Don't sugarcoat it. Be honest, Nah.
Listen, it's not so much of a shithole today. It's
Well, I don't know that, but it was a shithole back then.
right.
Where exactly are we talking about, Kev?
We're
St.
talking
John's
about
Place.
March. We're talking about July of 66.
Where
No,
though?
but
What street?
what's the exact
John's
area?
Place.
St. John.
I'm on. We located the ladder 120, which is on Watkins Street,
No, but where was 132? St. John's and what?
St. John's and Washington, between Washington and Clawson, which is considered the border of Crown Heights and Bed-Stuy.
All right.
Anyway, I'm up on the roof. Captain wants a 4x4 hole, and I learned how to
Wait a
chop
minute. In your first run, you had to give you the roof.
First run.
They give you the roof?
No, I'm up on the roof with the company.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm the can man. But I'm up on the roof with the company. The captain wants a 4x4 hole. You got to remember, guys, no radios, no saws, no masks, no nothing.
Holy shit!
You're going Paul Bunyan on the roof.
Petey's already shaking.
You and your tools.
I'm out of here.
I'm out of here.
I'm smart. I'm like everybody says.
So I start chopping a hole, and the axe is bouncing off the roof like a rubber band. I had no idea what to do.
Hit it harder, Frank.
Yeah. The senior guy at the time was a guy by the name of John Fox. He goes, "Come here, kid. Give me that axe. Give me the axe." He starts chopping the way I was taught in probie school. He opened that fucking hole in like 10 minutes. So that was my first learning experience.
Was with an axe right there.
Yeah. So it got better and better after that. I'll tell you that right now.
How long before you met Miss Piggy?
Hey!
Whoa!
There it is. There it is.
Yes.
Who was the captain there, Frank, at the time when you got there?
Captain was a guy by the name of Al Kuhnle. He was a German guy. He was so by the book that if it wasn't in the book, it didn't exist.
Really?
And I'll give you a perfect example. As veterans, if you work Veterans Day or you work the night tour, you got the tour off.
Correct.
You guys, they still live?
They still do that, yeah.
Okay. One of the guys in my company was in the Air Force. So he worked Veterans Day, he wanted the tour. He went into the office, told Cap, "I want to get the tour off." Captain says, "John, I can't give you the tour off." He goes, "Why not?" He goes, "In the book, it says Army Air Corps. It doesn't say Air Force."
Come on.
That's him.
That's to the
We
letter.
lost you. Say it again.
He said, "I can't give you Veterans Day off because it's not.
You got my
but the Air Force is not in the book of rules. It says Army Air Corps."
Oh my God.
That's
That guy.
how the captain was.
Oh, Hank, it's your internet, Hank. We heard him.
Okay.
And our captain was known for his disciplinarian tactics. Our firehouse was a dumping ground before it became the 132 that Hank knows. We used to get all these malcontents sent to 132 from all over the place.
Why did they choose that place, Frank?
Huh?
Why did they pick 132 to send those?
Because of the captain.
Oh, he was straightening them out.
He was the guy that straightened it out. We had a guy lifted out of a 26 truck that at the time the captain was this guy Galvin, who was a Marine DI. He was so squared away. If your button was out of place, he'd ream you an asshole. But this guy in 26 truck at the time was going down First Avenue in a caddy naked against traffic. Cops picked him up, brought him back to the firehouse.
There's something wrong with that?
No, nothing wrong with it.
Is that frowned upon?
He brought him back to 26 truck. He told the captain to go fuck himself, and the captain lifted him, sent him 132.
And he showed up naked in a Cadillac.
And he showed up in a Cadillac, not naked, but in that same Cadillac, is right.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Did you become friends with him?
Yeah, and it was a great fireman.
Was the captain a World War II vet, or what was
The captain? No, he was not. He was in the military, but I think he was in Korea. He wasn't in World War II. Most of my senior guys were Korean War vets. Yeah.
That's what I was going to ask you, Frank. So who were some of the senior guys there that you remember who really
I'll tell you exactly.
took you over, and taught you the job?
The guys that I looked up to was the senior chauffeur. His name was John Fox. I was in his group. That was a captain chauffeur. Another guy is Ed Beck, who was in the Navy, and he was a second senior chauffeur. And then John Drum, he's in that picture, that old time picture. He's the chauffeur in that picture, and he's the guy all the way on the picture's right. He's a Navy vet.
Which guy? That guy?
The guy all the way on the right. This guy right here, right?
He looks like an old Navy man.
He is a Navy vet, and this other fellow, Jim Bedell. Those were the 4 chauffeurs that broke us in.
Who's that guy right there? Is that the captain right there?
No, that is Artie Sullivan. Artie was a lieutenant in the truck. He left us. He came from 65 engine as a fireman, and then he came to the truck for truck experience. He got promoted, and then came back to.
Are you in this picture, Frank?
Sorry?
Are you in this picture? Which guy are you?
I am between the lieutenant and the chauffeur.
Wow, look at that hair, man. Holy shit.
In the back or the front?
The back.
No.
Oh, to the right. The second guy on the right.
The second guy on the right, that's me.
With the big coif of hair? That guy?
That guy with that comb over.
Who's
the comb over on the right, Kev. The second from the right. I thought he was the guy with the big, nice coif. He's got a coif. He's got like the big
guy in the back. The guy in the back looks like Bowser from Shadow.
The guy in the very back is Tom Hanley.
He's a big guy.
Yeah, he's a big guy. He subsequently passed away. He was bordering around 350 pounds after he got out of the job.
Yeah.
That's Hank Helgelson all the way to the left. That's holding the helmet in his hands.
With his
suspenders on.
And
Nice.
his jeans.
He just died recently from Parkinson's disease.
And just a note on that, Hank Helgeson lived right here in the Del Boca Vista.
Exactly.
Did he?
Yeah, he was here in Laley. He just passed
and
away.
that fellow behind him is Jim Sage. He was affectionately known as the Dent.
Why is he the Dent?
Because he got cracked in the head with an axe one day and it left this big dent in his head.
He ain't lying.
And we were at a promotion party for this guy Schwal, and he got promoted to captain, and Dent got a little inebriated and fell down the stairs and killed himself.
Oh, come on.
So yeah.
Yep.
So you're the only one left.
No, the lieutenant is still left. He's 95 years old.
Oh, we got to get him on the show.
Yeah, Artie Sullivan.
What year is this, Frank? What year is this photo?
This had to be 1970.
All right, I was on the earth. All right.
We didn't have a remount yet. That was a Mac Tiller rig, 85.
I didn't know you guys were at Tiller.
Yeah.
When you got there,
we had a 59 Mac Tiller.
Oh wow!
And when I got there was no covers. There was no nothing. It was an open rig.
The whole thing was open.
The whole thing was open.
It looks like a homemade roof over the cab. Was that?
Yeah. Right. What happened is they shot King in '68, and then our constituents started coming down on us, and the shit hit the fan, and they started putting covers on top of the rig.
Oh shit!
So that started.
I like how he says our constituents.
Our constituents and us didn't get along that well. Let's put it that way.
Wow.
Where is that picture taken, Frank? That's not
the firehouse.
It
is.
Yeah, in front of quarters.
What's to the left there? I can't figure out what the hell that is right there.
That's the firehouse.
That's between the two apparatus. The engine was to the left.
Exactly.
I see.
489 and 491 St. John's Place.
I got you.
Now, when you got there, Hank was telling me this, so I'm not going to pretend like I was really smart. Hank said that you guys weren't the Eye of the Storm. What were you guys called?
No, we didn't really have a nickname. The Eye of the Storm, that name was phrased by this fellow Paulie Smith, who was a fireman in 132 in the early 70s. And then Bill Burke, who was a fireman with us, I think he came in 77 or 78. he created the logo, the Eye of the Storm logo.
Right.
But Paul Smith came up
Is that
with
Billy
the-
Burke from
Right.
Rescue 5?
Yeah, that's Billy Burke.
Yeah.
Right.
If I may, Frank, when I got there, you guys, it was the St. John's Men's Club.
Yeah, that was another name.
Right. That was kind of what was floundering around.
Yeah,
and then
the
what
St.
happened
John's-
was I was working that night with Paulie Smith, and it was a night tour, and there were all the boxes, the companies around us were all getting work. And we were like, we'd be like first door on the second here, but we were sitting in quarters. And Paulie, was like, he says, yeah, but it's like we're sitting in the eye of the storm. All's quiet in the eye of the storm. And,
Paulie was still there when you got there?
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
Don't you remember the whole Skylab thing that he did?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was on the back of the rig when we dropped it in front of Rescue 2's quarters.
Okay.
So Paulie had said that. And Billy was the artist, so Billy then started working on the skull with the
Patch.
right.
When in doubt, go with a skull.
Always works. Always sells on
Right.
t-shirts.
So it became the Eye of the Storm around 1980,
That I thought it was
80,
I
81.
thought it was earlier than that. All right.
So,
Yeah, it was the St. John's Men's Club, but that was like a euphemism for we because we did nothing, as far as
You guys, you mean you weren't going to a lot of work? You said it was.
what happened was, Kev, after King was shot, it went from a company that was doing 2,500 runs. We blossomed up like 4,000 runs within 2 years, and we were starting to do a lot of work. A lot of runs, a lot of work, a lot of false alarms, a lot of vacant buildings. They devised ways to make these fires burn. I had jobs where you go in, you put the fire out, start pulling ceilings, and they'd have cans of gasoline in the ceiling, come down and just light the room back up again. That's basically what it was like during those early 70 years.
Did you ever, Frank, did you ever have a minute to stop and think about why all this was going on? Or did it even matter to you?
During that time, all we knew is that we were going a lot of, the phrase of the day, what the fuck, another job? And that's how busy it was.
Shit.
And, subsequently we found out it was, they were burning the buildings down for the insurance.
Right.
And then the fire department got wise. They put the marshals out there, the red cap.
Yep.
And they eventually, it slowed down. But during the heyday, I tell you, we were pretty busy. To the fact that we used to interchange almost every other night.
Who would you guys interchange with?
We had three companies. We had 156 truck, 169, and 168. We'd go there every other night to a different company, and there was a program at one time where if you had so many points by midnight, you can go at midnight. So if you had like 15 runs, or you had 2 jobs, you had X amount of points. I think it's 25 points, and each job counted for so many points. So one night. 11:30. We had these points to interchange, so we took a poll. You guys want to go? Yeah, we'll go. What the fuck? Why not? So me and my big mouth, I called up 156, and he answered the phone. And says, "Hi, is this the Kings Holiday Inn?" I can reserve 6 beds. Fuck you, 132. So the story gets better. We go to 156, and we can't leave our place till they're in our response area. We go to 156, back into quarters, and there's the chief and the 3-3, and I don't remember his name. He tells our boss, he goes, Lou, trucks and watches, and the 3-by cleans the chief's car. The lieutenant says, Chief, truck's going to sleep. You can clean your own chief's car. Good night.
The 3x cleans the Chiefs car.
Yeah, the 3x cleans the Chiefs car. So, sure enough, he says, all right, 32, go to bed. We go to bed. We're not in bed 20 minutes. We get a run. And it's blowing out like fucking 1,000 windows 2 blocks away from the firehouse. We're at this third alarm till 9 o'clock in the morning. And 156 is back in the 132 sleeping.
I got to ask this question, though. I'm sorry.
Who's the guy? Somebody said that the interchange, right, during the height of the interchange, that the other company didn't want to interchange, and the busy company didn't want to interchange. And they would.
Yeah, you're right, kid. There's a lot of times we didn't want to go.
Right, but they would say they went, and they would either switch rigs or what they would do? Switch the numbers.
That was what Calamari said. I think he said they switched.
No.
I think it was Dennis.
It was
Dennis.
Murphy, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of times that we didn't want to interchange. We just want to stay in our own firehouse. Right. And but I tell you what, the companies themselves were great. They knew what the program was, and the guys in 156 at the time, they were the slower company. They picked up some work by us, and a few times that I was out there, we did get a peaceful night every once in a while. The best company that we went to was 168. They really liked going into 132, and the engineer 243. They had some phenomenal cooks, so we always had great meals every time we went there. So the interchange was good, but it didn't last that long. So,
and Frankie, wasn't it even when you guys before I got there, but when you guys were really knocking them dead? Didn't they also? You were like the second section of 120, also, right? You were catching work by you.
When I got to 132, we had alarm box cards behind us. So all the alarms come in on the bells. There was no voice alarm. There was no computers. They came in on the bells. So if there was an all hands out in, say, Brownsville, we'd pick up that box. We pick up that alarm box card, and it would say on the all hands, 132 goes to 120 or 103 or wherever the job was. And we were doing anywhere between 300 to 400 relocations a year and not getting credit for it.
Wow.
For years.
But you were catching a lot of work down
and
there,
we were
too.
catching a lot of work.
Right.
Wow.
And we weren't getting any credit for it whatsoever. Finally, that changed, and we started getting credit for the work.
Right. The company that you were relocated to would get the
at the time they would get the credit.
I might have to take back what I said to you before when I said go look at the last week's show, because if the numbers are skewed like that, Hank, hold on a minute.
Yeah, exactly.
Unreported work.
Yeah.
So we picked up a lot of work in a lot of companies, but we responded with great truck companies, 105, 111, 113, 102, every once in a while, 123. We picked up a lot of work with all great truck companies. So,
you know what? I wonder if that's still the same, because I felt like when I was in 103, 132 would relocate to us. We would relocate to them. We would relocate to 126 a lot. They would relocate to us. Like, it always seemed like it was the same companies.
Were you relocating or interchanging?
No, relocating. Even now, I think it was kind of like, I don't know if that's just what the dispatchers do, because it's easy to move the companies around like that, but it always seemed like it was the same companies.
Well, I think the computer assist dispatch system changed a lot from when it used to be the cards.
Yeah.
Like Frank said, it was automatic on those cards.
You picked up the card and it said locate the whatever. Right. That's where you went.
Now it's the dispatcher's discretion. They can see what's going on and just punch the numbers in, and
but I'm saying, like, I don't think it's just they're not just picking a company. It seems like it was a regular routine. Like, we always saw the same companies, and we always, for the most part, relocated to the same companies.
I think the computer gives them suggestions, maybe.
Right, probably.
And they say, okay, boom, they hit the who's ever going.
Right. You guys, during those years, have you ever heard of command procedure?
Negative.
No.
They had a program called Command. This is how busy it was. They had a program called Command Procedure, and the central firehouse at the time was 234, where rescue eventually went on Bergen Street.
On Bergen, yeah.
And what they do is they take companies from outlying areas, bring them into 234. They'd have a cop car, an engine, a truck, and a chief's car.
We did hear about that. We did hear about that.
You did hear. That's called Command Procedure, right? The busy companies weren't involved because we were already doing the work. Okay. Right. But one night I get detailed down to 234, and their apparatus was outside in the street. The whole apparatus floor was filled with cots, bunk cots, so guys can get some sleep. And the trucks are fucking lined up for blocks, waiting to go on runs. So that's how
we
it
talked
was.
about that with Vinny Dunn, right?
Yes, I think so.
I don't know. Kev, I don't know who actually created it, but I know the actual program was called Command Procedure.
Yeah, and
right. Was that done like during civil unrest? That's what the cops were escorting them in, right?
Right. And it happened to be a guy that eventually went to 123. This guy Dick Webb.
Yeah.
Dick was a fireman at 123, but during Command Procedure, he was a motorcycle cop. So he was one of the guys leading.
Nice.
The entourage.
We've heard that name before, right?
Dick Webb?
Yeah, we have. Yeah,
I told you about him. He lived in Freeport. He moved to Freeport eventually.
Yeah, great guy.
Great guy.
Real close friend of him. A friend of his. He's a Marine as well.
Is he a black dude?
Sorry?
Is he a black dude?
He's a black dude as well, yeah.
Dude, get him on the show. You can't get any black.
We spoke to him. I spoke to him. You know, I told you.
I did communicate back and forth with him.
I think he moved. I think he moved out of state when you were trying to get him.
Right.
I'm pretty sure he left New York.
But anyway, he came back to 23, and him and I hit it off big time. So
he was a good guy. Didn't he also take advantage of the air being in 123? Didn't he like all of us, we had the side gigs going on. Didn't he have a window business where he was replacing windows and a lot of the? I
don't know about Webb, but when 123 was down on Ralph and Bergen, they had a guy there, Davey Miller, who was one of the senior guys in the truck.
Okay,
black dude had a get place right next door to the firehouse.
Okay. I thought one or two of them had window. You know,
it wasn't Webb. I know who you're talking about. I just can't remember his name. But you're right.
Okay.
It wasn't Webb.
Because Dick, after he retired, he became like the head fire safety director at 30 Rock in the city.
Right. I visited him a couple of times when he was up there too.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, Frank, if you go back and you look at your career, what would you say if you could go back now to any time in your career? What point would you go back to?
Well, I'll tell you what, my career in the firehouse, in the fire department, was broken up into two distinct times. From when I come in the job to basically when I got the seat in the truck, and the coming of our latest captain. All right, it started to change in the mid 70s a little bit. You know, we were doing a lot of work. They weren't shipping malcontents to us as much as they did in the early days. All right, we started getting really good guys into the firehouse, and eventually we got a captain that changed the whole persona of the firehouse. This guy, Joe Abruzzo, he was our captain. He came in 78.
He was a 108 guy, right? Lieutenant.
He was a 108 lieutenant who got lifted out of 108 into 143. He got lifted because I think he cold cocked the chief in a 3-5 battalion.
Oh, Louis would like him.
Whoa, look at Hank, bro.
Wow.
So anyway, he came to 132, His first day was New Year's Day. He holds a roll call, and there's 7 of us working. Everybody's back from vacation. All 7 guys are supposed to be in are working that day. It's a day tour.
That's when you had the 2 roofmen, right?
2 roofmen, right? Exactly. So he's looking at us. He introduces himself, and we all introduce ourselves. He looks at us. He goes, "Hey, Frank, I know you're the senior man. I know you're my chauffeur." And he looks at this other guy, Kevin. It's the guy Kevin Coyle. It's Kevin. You're a chauffeur as well. He goes, "Yeah, I am, Cap." He goes, "All right, Frank, you go home. This is like New Year's Day. You go home. Kevin, you got the seat, and if we need you, we'll call you." He says to me, "Do you want me to go home, Cap?" He goes, "Yeah, go home. We don't need 7 guys." I said, "Well, this is going to be a great captain, right?" He goes, I got a couple other musts. We must always eat. The Army doesn't march on an empty stomach.
I like it right there.
Yeah, okay. He says to me, "Frank," I says, "I know you do most of the cooking." He says, "We got a backup chauffeur. You stay back and cook till the meal is done."
Nice.
Take that, whatever you say. So this is getting better and better. So
I like this guy already.
With that said, he became the reason why 132 became one of the most sought after companies that guys wanted to go to. And he changed the whole culture to Firehouse. And I got really close with him. At the time, I was in the ski business, and he was a skier himself. And I got basically the run of my life through Abruzzo. Since I was in the business, I had to be up in the mountains during the winter. So I'd say to him, "Cap," I says, "would you mind if I bank some mutuals from the spring till the summertime and take them during the winter? Because as long as I got a body, I don't care what you do." So I'd start making all these mutuals like from May through September, take a mark on all of them, who owes me what, how many tours, et cetera, et cetera. I'd switch my vacation from whatever vacation I had to the winter time. I'd call in all my mutuals. I'd be out from, say, around the 20th of December to almost the end of March. And that went on for years.
Oh, shit.
So after a while, I didn't have too many fires during the winter time. So.
Yeah, winter's the fire season, right?
Kev, he was telling me in the pre-show, Frank was telling me in the pre-show that Ren now runs, he was running the Vidge.
Yeah, I got involved. Vidge was one of our lieutenants. You know that, right?
No,
Yes.
I did not know that.
Oh,
130.
yeah, Vidge. John Viggiano came to 32 in 78.
That's why his son went there.
He put his son there, yeah, right, because of Abruzzo.
Right.
So Vidge was one of our lieutenants in 78. And I was a captain chauffeur, but, we got along. And I was working a mutual one day, and I was driving him, and it was a day tour. Sure enough, we got a run to 1075. We're down with 111. I'm pulling into the block, and I'm looking at the job, and I ran 111's towel out of it with the front of the fucking rig, right?
Swing and a miss, he struck him out.
So Rich turned out to be good. Good start, Cheech.
Cheech, I love it.
Yeah. So anyway, we hit it off pretty good, and but he only stayed a couple of years, and he went to the rescue after he left us. So I got involved with him big time after 9/11 when both his boys were killed at the World Trade Center. So I started doing a fundraiser ski trip in honor of the boy's name, and I did that for like 15 years. And then Ren Terry took it over for me a couple of years back.
Ren Terry, Squad 288 guy.
Yeah.
Speaking of Rescue 2, did you guys ever butt heads with those guys? You know, because you're not going that far away.
Rescue 2. Why would we butt heads with those guys? They were always right.
They're always right.
We were never right. Yeah, we had our little run-ins every once in a while, especially when they moved over to Bergen Street. You know, then when they used to come in on all the boxes. But in essence, they were great guys. Great guys. We sent, I'd have to say, in all the guys that I broke out, about maybe 10 of those guys went to the rescue companies. Timmy Higgins, Billy Berg, Scott Fox, Dave Steinauer, at least Richie Evers, whole ton of
Molay.
guys went to the rescue. The guys that I broke in.
You never wanted to go yourself, Frank?
Molay. Who else am I missing, Hank?
Well, it was like two separate groups. Like you guys that were there with you, like Richie Evers, Al Steinhardt, those guys.
Jimmy Rizzo,
the Rat. Like those guys went over there too. So you guys were friends for so many years.
Yeah.
It was like you'd break each other's chops, but it wasn't like maliciously.
No. We had there's two guys in the rescue who I don't want to name that we had issues with.
Right.
And,
then there was the new crop when I got there, the new list that which was like an infusion of young blood into the firehouse, and then eventually a bunch. I think I was the first guy to go to. I went to 1, and then Timmy Higgins went to 2.
Did you go to 1 before him?
Yeah.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yes, because I left in '86. I think Timmy might have went a year later.
Oh yeah.
So he went, and then Scott went much. He went to 5 like later on. And,
Yeah, he went in the 90s.
And then guys like Burke didn't go to. They got promoted, and then eventually went to.
Burke was Lieutenant 105.
Right.
Going 9/11.
Right.
Right.
So,
then he went to Rescue 5.
And he ended up in 5.
But we had Willie Pasquarella. He went over there to Rescue 5.
When they started, right.
Yeah.
You never wanted to go, Frank?
What was that, Kev?
You never wanted to go? You have no interest?
I was called by O'Flaherty in Rescue 1 to come over there. I'm a scuba instructor as well. And since I was a scuba diver, I am still a scuba diver, O'Flaherty wanted me to come over there. And since I had that type of training under my belt. And I had the seat in 132. I had the world by the balls. I was like the third senior man. I wasn't giving this up.
That all fall winter ski stuff, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you had a good gig. You had a good
I had
captain.
a great gig.
Right.
The captain was like one of my good buddies. We skied together. We hung out together. And
I didn't know that you were a big skier like that.
And, I did what I had to do, but the guys that worked under me made my life really easy. Guys like Costello, Burke, Bobby Herring, Coletta, Moriarty, Kevin Butler, all these guys I broke in, went on to bigger and better things, and all these guys really made my life a lot easier than I had it as a junior man, believe me.
Right.
I mean, at the point where I felt almost fucking embarrassed, they wouldn't let me do anything. I got it, Frank.
I know a guy like that.
Yeah, I know a guy like that too.
Yeah.
It's at the wrestle a broom. You have to
us
wrestle
how it
a
was.
broom.
If you can remember, tell us what it was like when Hank came in. If you remember any stories from early on.
Well, when Hank came in, we got a real good heads up that he was a volley out in Freeport.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got a real good heads up that he was a volley out in Freeport. And when he came into the firehouse, I mean, I know buffs, but this is the biggest fucking buff I've ever seen in my entire life. But I'll tell you one thing: he did his work. He did his job. He's a good fireman, and he definitely respected the senior guys. So I tell you what, there's very few guys that came through 132 that I have no use for. And Hank knows exactly who they are. So
I thought you were going to say, and Hank was one of them. I don't know.
Hank was not one of them. I'll be honest with you, I was sorry to see Hank go, because he molded a lot of the younger guys too when he got there.
Yeah, well, it wasn't that's never an easy decision. And like I said, I lucked out with my career because I started in a great place, and I wouldn't have had it any other way. I mean, I saw a lot of fire duty, made a lot of good friends, and it was just like you said. I guess like you said, a buff. I mean, I was doing. I just wanted more. I was looking besides the fires, the scuba diving, the high angle rope. I wanted to do all of that stuff. Yeah. So when the opportunity knocked, when O'Flaherty called me and said if not that he called me, I obviously expressed an interest, but when he did make the phone call and say, it's time to come if you want to come.
How long were you on the job, Hank, when you went to talk to him?
Well, I got on with your brother February of '79. I did about 14 months in the engine because we all went to engine. So we went to 280. But because I was in a truck in Freeport, I like the truck work. I had, as soon as after a year, you could put a transfer paper in. So I think they had a couple of openings. I talked to Uncle Joe Abruzzo and said, I wanted to come across the floor. So, he gave me his blessing. I put the paper in and I was able to go across the floor. So that was in that was 1980, April, May, June of 1980. And then I left in July of '86. So I had 7.5 years on the job when I went to one.
That's pretty good.
Was Mike Galler in the firehouse when you were there, or did he come in after?
No, he came out. I know Mike, but he came after I got there.
Yeah.
I mean, the pecking order was pretty much out of that whole new class. I think Eddie Coletta was the first guy that got there. His old man was the Brooklyn Borough Commander. Right. Then you got Herring, because his father was the Staten Island Borough Commander.
Wow.
Right. And his brother became the Staten Island Borough Commander as well.
Right.
Tommy.
Right. So you had those two guys. Then I think it skipped the class, and then you got
Moriarty.
Well, no, I'm trying to think of I don't know if Costello came. Well, he came in. I don't remember if Eddie was before or after me. But then the three of us came together. It was me, Eddie Moriarty, and Stevie Wall. So because
more. Right, because a lot of the guys that I was fortunate to work with became, like Kevin Butler became
the biggest of the big. Yeah.
Yeah, he was the borough commander of the 6th Division.
Yeah.
Right. Like Butler and Salisbury transferred in from 227.
Right.
They came around 81 or 82, I think.
Right.
They were two good pickups.
Well, a lot of guys went on to be big chiefs. Gallup is what? What is he now?
Well, he was up there, but I think with the new administration, he's I don't know if he's persona non grata, but he's a deputy somewhere.
Yeah, he's assistant chief of department right now.
No.
He's got 3 stars.
Yeah, but he's not. It's Hodgins is chief of department,
right?
And
Esposito.
Esposito is chief of operations. So,
chief of operations.
So yeah, Mike is I think a star below them somewhere. I think he's a 3-star, Mike.
Yeah, he is a 3-star. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
What about Miss Piggy?
Hey!
Salute.
Hey, Frank. You know what I wanted to point out was something that I took from what you were saying before. You went from a reputation in your house that you might say wasn't good.
No.
And because of the first part of the pyramid, everybody fell in line and believed in a system or believed in what he was selling. And it turned the whole place around to where it even is today, where it's still a sought after place today. You know what I mean? So it can happen. It doesn't matter where you are. It can happen as long as everybody buys in.
Captain Abruzzo was the reason for all that. He just made life in the firehouse as easy as possible. And he, some of his words like, "Don't let anything come up to the office. You guys take care of any shit that's going on. I don't want to know nothing." And guys respected him, and guys actually loved him, and would do anything for him. There was nobody.
There you go.
Yeah,
What can
and-
you say
and-
more than that?
Yeah, would do anything for him.
Why would
I
you
tell
say
what
more
you
than
like.
that? Yeah. What
What
can
was
you
that,
say
Kev?
more?
But I said an important key or factor to that is good senior men, right? I mean,
Right.
you got to have good senior men in the
Right.
firehouse.
Well, they got to buy in, right? It's
Right.
like
They got to
any
buy
team.
in, and they got to pass it on
Correct.
to the members. You know, you have to have a good core of senior men, or at least one or two good senior
Yeah,
men.
and at the time, the senior guys, myself, this fellow Jim Sage, Don Aponte, Jerry Fargione, we had guys that.
What do you got, old guineas over there? What the hell? Just
Big Italian, was a big
Oh, Ponte
Italian
was
house.
Puerto Rican. He wasn't the game.
Ponte was Puerto Rican,
Poppy,
yeah.
Poppy.
all right.
So, we had good senior guys. And, the thing was, if you don't like it here, get the fuck out.
Right.
Nobody's forcing you to stay here.
Right.
And eventually we got this Keith Lachlan from Squad 1. He came to us on an onion skin. And basically, he came over. And when Keith came over, he basically took over for the senior men. He just ruled the roost. This is the way we're doing it. If you don't like it, get your ass out of here. And we had a probie miss a run, and he made him sit on the back step the whole night.
Good
Yeah.
for him, man. Yeah.
Yeah, and he wasn't one of the senior guys. He was just that into doing things right in 132. So
Right. If I may, my take on it was, in 79, late 78, 79, 80, there was such an influx and infusion of young guys. And like, I remember walking into the firehouse, I was in total awe. I was like, wow, I made it, I'm in the big time here. I'm in the New York City Fire Department in a real busy house. And then you looked and you saw the guys that were there, and you were almost like, you looked up to them, but you were almost like afraid to, to like talk to them in the beginning. Like, somebody like Aponte, he didn't even want to talk to you. I mean, that was just his shtick, like, unless you had a year on the job, you kind of made believe you weren't there. But we looked up to these guys. But like Frank said, there were a couple of guys in both the engine and the truck. Most of the senior guys were aces. And when they talked, I always listened. And there were a couple of guys that were like, after a while, I learned, I'm going to respect them because they're senior to me, but I'm going to let it go in one ear and out the other, because I'm getting the knowledge that I want and I need from guys like Frank, Dorio, that was in the engine, guys like that, the captain. We had all good officers. But I think what happened, like when we got to the firehouse, guys like Frank, they had time on, and I think they were getting tired. They were beat up. They had a lot of work, and there was no young blood. When we got there, it was like we showed up with like minds, sponges, like I always used to say. But we wanted to learn, but we brought like the young guy antics. And I think it actually was a shot of adrenaline for the older guys in the firehouse. They enjoyed the fact that these young guys were in, and now they didn't have to do all the work, but they can impart the knowledge and the experience they had onto us. And that's the take I always got on. Like I thought it was almost like the senior guys like spruced up when we got there, and it was like, hey, we got more energy now.
Let me tell you what the young guys did for me. When these guys come in, my weight was around bordering on 230. All right, I couldn't fucking climb up. I couldn't climb up a flight of stairs without getting tired, And since I was in the seat, I didn't have to get off the rig that much. You know what I'm saying? So these guys come in, and every one of them were in some type of phenomenal shape. Who's running marathons? Who's doing this? Who's doing that? And between Coletta, Moriarty, Costello, Hank, all these guys are in super good shape. They got me motivated into get myself in shape, and I owe a lot. I owe a lot to my longevity to a lot of these guys, and thankfully, they made me see the light as far as getting healthy. I put myself out on the meals for a while. I didn't start I wasn't pigging out the way I used to pig out, and started biking, running, and getting involved in health, and thankfully I just made it to 80. You know, so
God bless you.
For you.
yeah. I mean, and I owe it. I owe a lot to the guys that come in the late 70s and early 80s. They really motivated me to get into shape. And
anytime you get guys coming into the firehouse that are motivated, you see part of you, right?
Yeah.
You want to teach them everything you could teach them just because you could tell how excited they are to learn,
Exactly.
right? I mean, that's how we were with Hank. You know, I'm sure that's the same way these guys were with you. Yeah. And like you said, it brings the firehouse just.
It's a shot of youth in the
shot of
right?
youth, yeah, no doubt about
it.
Hank,
let me ask you a question, Hank. When you were the senior guy for us, right? It had to be a little bit different than what Frank was because there were no probies there, right? We had no probies. You know, the squad wasn't taking on probies. It was all guys with time or, some time, middle of the road, and then guys with, 15 to 20 years on. So how was it trying to assert yourself as a senior man when you didn't have probies there that would just, follow you blindly?
The difference was, when you're a probie, you're basically at their mercy. I'm a probie walking in, and I'm at their beck and call. And most guys, that's what they want. You got to start somewhere, because eventually you're going to be the senior man. But for me, you got to remember with the squad, it wasn't like a company that floating around. There were five new squads. Everybody that wanted, you wanted to be there. In other words, you had to go through a series of tests and this and that and everything to get there. So in essence, you were probies. The captains brought like 4 senior guys, for the seats with their officers, and to me, it wasn't like I never got anybody talking back or not that there was any reason to, but I was like, okay, we're drilling. I didn't have to say it twice. You guys all were like, you were sponges. You were like, hey, we wanted to be here. We wanted to learn all this stuff. So we're here, we're your students, impart your knowledge on us. So it was very.
Were you senior to John Hopkins?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
John Hopkins came after you left, I think, Hank, didn't he?
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Yeah, Hoppy came after you retired. He was. I drove Hoppy.
Yeah.
He was
John Hopkins was a probie in 21 truck when I was in Rescue 1 in quarters with them.
Oh, is that right? Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, I know him. I just know him from the squad.
Yeah, I love John. John's, the guy was para rescue, in the Air Force, a judo champ and everything.
Right.
But yeah, he was
not very aggressive.
No. But he was one of the guys, he got stuck in 21 truck, and I don't mean that in a bad way, but they weren't doing a lot of work because they didn't move a lot because they had
I think he went to 214 after that, I think.
He did, but when he was in the truck and we would drill in the in the rescue company, he would latch on to us all the time, and want to sit in on the drills and and do all of that stuff. But yeah, that was
we got a few more pictures there, Petey boy. What do we got?
Yeah, I want to hear some fire stories from the man. He got a medal. Let him talk about it.
Yeah, I
got that medal photo. So stand by. Here we go. Here's that medal photo. Talk about it. Let's talk about it.
All right. This job was on Clawson and Monroe. We were first new truck. I'm the chauffeur. We get down there. 2-3 people hanging out the window on the top floor. Fires blown out from the window underneath them. Myself and John Aponte was the OV man. I put the ladder up. The engine's just pulling in as I'm putting the ladder up, and I'm telling them just put some water on that. Hit the window with any type of water you have. I run up the ladder. I go into the window. I pull out one woman, and eventually when I got the woman to the window, 105 pulls in. They put the bucket up, or 111 pulls in. I forget who it was. They put the bucket up. I get the woman in the bucket. I go back in, and I get another guy out. And by that time, John Aponte is behind me. on a ladder. He gets in the window with me, and we pull out another person. We get them into the bucket as well. So we had a covering captain at the job at the time, and he was beside himself. That the fact that the fire was blown out the window directly underneath the top floor window, and I guess we put ourselves in harm's way to get up there. Our roof man was this guy Lenny Johnson. He got to the roof of the adjoining building, came down the interior, and he got knocked out, and they had to take him to the hospital. So it was a good job, and basically that's how I got my medal.
What year is this, Frank?
That's 1980.
What?
Father looks like
That's the medal. The medal day is a medal of 81.
What medal is that, Frank? What did you get?
That was the Dr. Rosencrantz medal, which I don't think exists anymore. But I got a class 3 out of it, and
Mom and Dad look proud there.
That's what I was going to say. Look at
my
your
mom
father.
and dad were very proud.
Yeah, no doubt.
Very
I
proud.
like that tie he's got on there.
Yeah. I gotta ask you, real quick, Frank. Dave in the chat is asking about who Rocket Ralph was. Who's Rocket Ralph?
Rocket Ralph. You want to? I got to tell you a story about Rocket Ralph.
All right.
Yeah.
We hear a screech in front of quarters one day, and this dog gets hit by a car. It's a little like half-breed German Shepherd. So our constituents there outside in the street, fireman, kill that fucking dog, get that dog out of there, blah, 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 blah. So we take it into the firehouse, like the good firemen we are. We bring it in. Now we got this dog. What do we do to it? We took it to a vet in our administrative district down on Nostrand Avenue. It was a vet at the front of the store, and I think it was a drug place in the back of the store. So we take the dog to the vet. It costs us like $300-400. He's got all these splints on him. We take him back to the firehouse. He's all splinted up. The vet says, give the dog a couple of weeks. He'll be fine. Sure enough, 2-3 weeks goes by. Fucking dog is not even nowhere near good.
Oh, no.
So what do? We take him to a vet over in Park Slope, a more expensive vet. Right? So the vet in Park Slope does a little better. He cracks a bone. He puts some more splints on him. And lo and behold, a month later, the dog is no better. So with that, we have this big company meeting. What are we going to do about this?
What are we going to do about the dog?
Yeah, we had a company meeting on this Saturday afternoon, believe it or not.
I remember this.
Everybody showed up. What are we going to do about the dog? So one of the guys said, why don't we take it to the Animal Medical Center over on York Avenue and East 61st Street?
What?
Yeah.
Well, that's the head ASPCA place.
Yeah, I know. In Manhattan?
Yeah, Manhattan. So myself and this fellow, Tom Murphy, we put the dog in the car. We shoot over there. We give the vet the dog. They take him in the back. 2 hours later, they come back out with the dog, and they say, here's the deal. The dog needs 5 operations. It's going to run you about $3,500 to $4,000.
Jesus.
Kill it.
So I said to Murph, I says, Murph, let's just fucking drop the dog off the Brooklyn Bridge. We don't know nothing. No, you can't do that. We'll take it back. The guys will go for it. I said, the guys are not going to go for fucking nothing. They're not going to go for anything. $3,500 a week.
You already done a couple of hundred already.
Yeah, we'll get it done. We'll take it out of the commissary. It's not going to happen. So we take the dog to the firehouse against my judgment. We have another big meeting, and one of the guys at the meeting says, "Why don't we call the news services and get an interesting story?" This fellow Jim Chiotis.
Good
Make
idea.
the comment. Let's call the news services.
Good idea.
So we get on the horn. we call the news, the Post, Channel 2, Channel 4, Channel 7.
7. Right.
Nice move.
So Channel 7 bites. They come with a film crew. They come during the day, and the reporter was a woman by the name of Mara Walensky.
I remember that
I
name.
remember that name.
I do.
She worked for Channel 7 at the time. So here we are in front of quarters, holding Ralph in our arms with all these bandages on him.
Oh my God.
Basically,
Perfect.
basically telling the story of what I'm telling you guys.
Was there a violin playing in the
Yeah,
background?
and if you want to donate,
Yeah.
this is the
If
number.
you want to donate, here's the phone. The phone starts ringing off the hook.
Holy
Yeah, he gave me the outside phone.
To the tune of about $40,000.
Oh my
no
God.
way.
Yeah.
So you got
Look
a
at his
new
face.
TV.
He's like this.
You got a
40
new TV room and a
$40,000.
dog.
Now the time in the engine was Captain Ralphie. He was the engine captain, and Abruzzo was the captain of the truck. So I can remember Abruzzo saying to Ralphie, "What the fuck are we going to do with all this money?" Right? So the Animal Medical Center calls us up. I said, "Tell you what, guys, we'll do the operation if you don't mind donating the money to us, and whatever firehouse brings in a stray dog and needs medical attention, we'll take care of it."
All right.
Wow.
So that was how Rocket Ralph was born.
Wow.
So
When did the big screen TV come into effect?
Let me tell you, they were very cautious with that. But
I'm sure.
I tell you what, that phone rang. I mean, you had to have a guy on house watch, and you had to take turns at the outside phone because it was like ringing. And then you get people saying,
donating $1,000, $500, like it was.
and then people, I can't afford to give you money, but I'm going to send you coupons for dog food. What's the address?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
it was
Wow.
insane.
That's
Wow.
crazy.
So ultimately, Ralph managed to be okay after the surgery.
After the surgery, we got him back.
And I got hit by a truck.
No. It gets better. We didn't have him fixed. So every time we had to run, he was like moving out of the fucking firehouse, running around fighting
He
with
was a
other
dirty
dogs.
bird. He was a dirty bird.
It was a dirty bird, right? So we got to run one day. It's a Saturday morning. We're gonna run, and I'm making a turn onto Clawson Avenue, and there's Ralph in the middle of the street humping some dog.
Oh my God.
My man.
He's
So
like
I
a
hit the
fireman.
horn. I get on the radio, Ralph. So he jumps up. He's looking at me. I said, "Get back to the firehouse." He jumps off the dog. He runs back to the firehouse. The guys grab him, and then a week later, we get him fixed, and
Oh, dude, we gotta make him a shirt. We gotta make him a
he
t-shirt.
became our dog.
Save Rocket Ralph, bro.
Yeah. So we got him buried behind the fire. And
How long did he last?
he lasted. That was what, 83.
Yeah, I don't know. I was gone, but I remember
He died. I
stayed
say
a
he
while.
died within the last 10 years.
Oh, he had a good life, Rocket.
Yeah, no, well, it was great.
Then we got the name from that was a character on Hill Street Blues. Remember that old TV movie Hill Street Blues?
Yeah.
Well, Rocket Ralph was like one of the street guys that was all over
What kind
the
of
place.
dog was he?
It was like a
German
mixed
Shepherd.
German Shepherd and some other dog.
It was
He's
it
gotta
was
have a
it
couple
looked
of
like a
sons
small
running
German
around the
Shepherd. He was
neighborhood.
probably about 45 pounds,
He's
like a
got
small German
He's
Shepherd.
got Rocket Ralph Jr.'s running around all over the place.
So, yeah.
Nice.
So that's the story of Rocket Ralph.
We taught him well. We taught him how to hate a lot of our constituents.
I think I remember. You know what? Now that I think about it, I think you're saying he was there up until 10 years ago?
At least, Louis, at least maybe 10, maybe 11, 12 years
I had
ago.
to see that dog.
Yeah,
I know
yeah,
that he
couple
was angry
days,
all the
yeah,
time.
yeah.
He would bark all the time.
Good old Rocket Ralph. I love that story.
Pete, what was that news paper? There was a paper.
Yeah, I got
what
that
was
one.
that? Was that the
Stand by.
medal?
Stand by.
Oh,
I
it
don't
was,
think
Rocket
it was-
Ralph. It was.
Oh, that was a Rocket Ralph?
I don't
no.
know.
Oh,
No, it was not Rocket Ralph. Look at these guys.
what is this, Frank?
This
Saving
year,
lives.
this was a job on Flatbush and Lefferts with 113. I can't remember the fellow that I went in with. We made in. These two girls were trapped, and me and this fella from 113 pulled them out. I can't remember his name, to be honest with you. He wound up going to Marine 6. So that was 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, some shit summer night, I guess.
They lived?
And myself and this other fellow went in and pulled these two girls out. So
Did they end up living, Frank?
yeah, both of them lived.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good job.
And then you got that other picture, Petey, with the beefsteak Charlie that Coop said.
Oh yeah, there he goes.
Oh, this
Look
is Hank.
at that.
Hank doing his beefsteak Charlie imitation.
For the kids out there who don't know who Beefsteak Charlie was, it was like an old timey restaurant.
Pull it up, Pete. Come on, do it. You're
I'll
right
find
there.
it.
Pull
I'll find it. Go ahead, guys. You guys tell us about this.
So who's in this picture, Frank?
The lieutenant all the way on the left is Lieutenant Victor O'Carey. I'm next to him. The dent, Jim Sage, is
The
in the
dent.
middle.
The dent put on a few pounds there.
Hank on his left.
Look
Bob
at Hank.
Salisbury and Walter Werner. Walter Werner wound up getting promoted to captain.
Walter
He finally
looks
left the job.
squared away. Look at that dude. He's got. I
Yeah.
like that guy.
Oh yeah, man. That
Frank,
was-
who are these two guys right here?
That's beefsteak
Hank.
Charlie. Holy
That's
shit.
Beefsteak Hank.
Hank and Walter Werner.
All right.
Look,
That's
the guy. That's Hank and the guy on the right.
I mean, hey, look, hold on. It could be them. Look, check it out.
Look at not for
Right.
nothing.
From
Hank's
here
neck is wider than
to
his
here.
head. He looks like a
That's it.
linebacker.
Look.
Iggy Salisbury.
Oh my God. I remember Beefsteak Charlie's. Jeez.
Yeah, man.
Oh my God.
Listen, we're taking donations to Rocket Ralph.
And,
Give it to us in the super chat. We're taking donations for Rocket Ralph.
Yeah. Yeah.
The lieutenant in the picture, Vic Mulcahy, was a great guy. He when he got promoted, he ended up being the captain of 126.
Right.
Oh, did he?
Great guy.
Never heard of him.
126, 126. Nope.
126.
Yeah, he came. He was a fireman on 122.
Right.
Oh, there's the eye of the storm. So you had to. What year was this, Hank?
When did we get that rig, Frank? Was it like 82?
72 was our first remount.
Right, but this one, the city was looking to replace the Max with a stronger aerial. So
We got the Mac in I think 80.
right, and it was a Conestoga wagon was the chassis, and then the ladder was an LTI ladder, which was the first one with like all the hydraulics, no cables. So I was told the reason they gave one to us and one to 30 truck up in Harlem
Exactly.
because of the amount of aerial time we were doing at occupied buildings.
Right.
We were doing a lot of aerial
And
time.
I'll tell you how strong that Mac was. When we went to the Rock to train on it, the guys were testing it out, showing us what it could do. They extended the aerial from the back of the turntable and picked up a car with it.
Really?
Yeah,
Jeez.
that's how strong that ladder was.
Yeah, that had was the first one with had the different outriggers where they were out and down. It
Yeah.
took a little more time, but the aerial was so fast that once you had your outriggers down, it was like it shot out like a bullet.
You shooting the
Quite
sticks,
fast.
baby. Shooting the sticks.
Hey Frank, you know what I want to ask you? Did you ever think of studying at all throughout those years?
You know what? I studied for 2 tests. I failed my first one, and I got left on my second one, and then I got hurt pretty bad. I fell 3 floors, and I was out for quite a while. And then when I got back to work, I put my papers in to go to a slower fire. I don't want to go. I put my papers in to go to 168, and then the captain says, "Just hold on, we're going to give you the seat," and that's why I stayed in 132. But yeah, I took 2 tests, and I passed one, and I got left on the list. So,
I got to ask you from the chat here. There's a burning desire to know, Frank, how young Hank Molay was when you were his senior man. Everyone wants to know what a young Hank Molay behaved like, and was he a pain in your ass?
I would say, Hank, were you in the early 20s?
Yeah, I was 23 when I got
23
there.
when you got there.
Mhm.
And when he first came to the firehouse, he went to the engine, so I had nothing to do with him. So he went to 280, and he spent a year and a half or 2 years there before he came into the truck.
Yeah, about a year and a half.
And then when he came to the truck, I don't think you were in my groups either. Well,
I was with Ponte was my chauffeur most of the time.
Ponte was a chauffeur. Okay, so as far as I know, it was great. We had no issues with Hank. Just a little Buffy, if you want to say that.
Oh.
But I will say this to my credit. I organized the gym upstairs.
You did.
I got guys to chip in, and I made a contact in Plainview with Universal. And we got a refurbished 8-station Universal gym that we got it for a good price, but it came all unassembled. So we were humping this stuff with all the weights.
And
three flights.
And Hank is one of the guys that got me motivated to get in shape too with this gym.
Right. So the third floor used to be the district office for the guy. What were those guys? They're like the civilian.
Third floor was the marshals at one time.
Okay, so they were out. So we took over the third floor. It was for studying, and then we had the whole thing. Was a gym. So I got the gym going there, and like Frank said, they got a lot of guys motivated to because you had the gym
especially
right. Right, and then eventually.
We got the rowing machine. I was on that rowing machine forever.
Right. We had that. Yeah. We got as more guys came, we were collecting $100 a man, which was, some guys didn't like that, but it's like that's the only way. Now since 9/11, everybody they get money, they give you the gyms and everything. Back then, if you didn't buy it yourself, you weren't getting it. Right. So we had the house tax, but the house tax was for stuff in the kitchen and everything.
And Frank, did you ever throw Hank's can down the hallway?
Not that I can remember. No,
I never needed to.
Okay.
I mean, this is news to me. I didn't even know Hank worked out. Did Hank?
Oh my God!
That's a good one.
Blasphemy!
I can always remember you at my heels at the jobs in 288, but whatever. We don't have to go there now.
And let me tell you something, guys. Even today, I'm out of the job 33 years. Okay. Even today, one of our guys, Scott Fox, has a big place up near Cooperstown, and he has a get together for anywhere between 50 to 70 guys every 3 years. He gets everybody up there, and we hang out for 2-3 days up near his place. So even today, we're still all together as guys that came on the job in the 70s and 80s. We're still seeing each other as we are.
Are you one of the older tiers there, or any guys before you? Are you the?
There are a few guys left before me. Phil Burns. You ever see that Balance of Nature commercial with the deputy chief?
That's him.
You know what I'm talking about?
I think I have seen that actually.
Yeah.
That's Phil.
That's Phil Burns.
Come on.
Look at his face laughing.
That's Phil Burns, right?
Okay.
He left us in '73. He's still around.
Holy shit.
Artie Sullivan, who's in that picture, that lieutenant, he's 95.
Wow.
He's still around. There's about maybe 5 or 6 guys.
We got to get Artie on the show quick, Ruff.
I'll tell you what, you don't want him on the show.
You don't want him on the show.
He's crazy.
I like crazy guys.
Hey Frank, correct me. I mean, I didn't work with Phil Burns. But I met Frank. when he come back to the firehouse. We said all hellos and spoke sometimes. But he always. I got the impression he was a pretty hard-nosed guy. Was he?
As a fireman,
was he the deputy chief, Phil Burns?
He was a deputy in the 11th.
With the shamrock on his hand over here.
Yes, and he was also in the bagpipers.
Yeah, he called me a ragamuffin one day.
A ragamuffin?
Yeah, he was a pretty hard-nosed guy.
Yeah, we're doing the hose test, no less. I got my shirt untucked because we're doing. Who does the hose these days? He goes, that kid a Proby? He looks like a goddamn ragamuffin. Get him out of here.
He kind of forgot he was a fireman.
Right.
If you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So, but I got along with him, and I still do. And being he's one of the guys that broke me in. I respected him, and he taught me a lot. So believe me, I was so anal when it came to the fire department when I first got there. It took me at least 2 years to know exactly what I had to do or what was important. So it took me a long time, and I had senior guys made sure that they, I knew what I was doing. And I don't think I was off the can of the irons for my first 2 or 3 years. I mean, the roof was out of the question, and at the time, I don't think we even had an OV man. So that came later on.
Frank, I got to ask you something that's just been kind of on my mind. So we always hear from all the old time war horses who were there during the war years, like when you guys were super busy and always there, like, oh, it was unbelievable. It was great. We were going to fire after fire. We were, we did 10 runs that one day, 20 runs the next, and 30, whatever. Did you ever have a point because it was so overwhelming and so much that you were like, you know what, fuck it, let it burn to the ground, or just you were just over it, some days? What were your days like that, or did you have days like that?
I tell you what, Pete, I've never gone to a job where I didn't give it my 100 200%. Never. No matter if it was a vacant building, people trapped, whatever the case was. Our job was to put the fire out or try and get it out as best as could. It wasn't my job to decide, fuck it, I'm not going to do it. If the chief said, get out, let it burn, that's on them.
I don't know.
But as far as me personally, and as far as 132 was concerned, we did what we had to do to make sure the fires went out.
Okay, and now you see where I get it from. Okay,
yeah.
That's what I said. You learn from guys that did more than you and were better than you. Like Frank said, you went to a job, you gave it 110% and then some. You didn't ask, is it? There were no vacant buildings, right, Frank? Because in our area, you always had squatters.
Well, we had a lot. We were pretty much a lot of occupied buildings, but I had my share of vacants. Believe me.
No, but what I meant was that you couldn't pull up to a building and assume that it was vacant because there were squatters.
Squatters all over the place.
So does that human life, is that worth less than the millionaire across the circle in Park Slope? It was like we didn't look at it that way. We were there to save lives and save
property. I say all the time, firemen don't go in there with any predetermined. We don't know who's in there. We don't care if you're black, white, male, female. We don't give a shit. You go in there to do your job, and that's it, man. You don't even know once you get in there. So
right.
Well, you guys were truly a breed apart, that's for sure. And before we
hold on, I want to ask Frank a question quick.
Yeah, go ahead, Lou.
Frank, do you get a chance? My cousin is Louis is a lieutenant there in 132. I think he's been there for 20 years, maybe. I don't even know.
It's got to be at least 20.
It's 20, right?
Yeah.
I think do you get a chance to go by the firehouse at all, or you talk to the guys there?
Yeah, a lot. I'm like the senior liaison between the truck, and Joe Revere is the senior liaison for the engine.
Nice.
So, I speak to the guys at the firehouse a lot, and you guys. I was involved with Fire Family Transport for 15 years, and I got involved with the job more so than when I was on the job. I was doing a lot of taking guys to hospitals and doing funerals, guys that died after 9/11. So I got involved, and I was in 132 a lot. Doing a lot of shit for them. So, and not only 132, but a lot of firehouses. So, and I had a good run with Fire Family Transport till I was like I said, 75. They wouldn't let drive the vans or the rigs anymore.
You know what, Frank? It says a lot about the firehouse itself when guys who got on in the 60s are still coming back to events. It's generational. It goes with decades and decades, right? It's amazing.
I don't think I would have lasted today.
No?
No.
Well, you're not.
I can tell you, I wasn't exactly the most community related.
You're not
I wasn't the most community related guys in the world. You know?
Come on, man.
Listen, what one of your other nicknames was Frankie Finesse.
Yeah,
So
Frank Finesse, exactly.
Yeah.
I don't want to go into that.
All right.
you did what you had to do, Frank. You did.
That's it.
You know?
Yeah, well, we had, it's a great company, and it's still a great company. And the senior man right now, I don't know if you guys know Vinny O'Grady.
Never heard of him.
I was in Broby school. I was in Broby school with Vinny. Yeah,
Vinny runs a tight ship right now.
I love Vinny, man. He's a good
guy. Vinny and Brian O'Faraday, they run a tight ship. If you don't like it, don't let the door hit you.
It is a no-nonsense. I think that, again, that starts from the top, right?
Exactly.
It still has a no-nonsense. My cousin's the same way. It kind of goes through the whole.
Yeah, exactly.
And
Vinny's not opposed to throwing hands either. You know? Big boy.
He is a presence. Yes, no doubt about
it. I speak to the guys at least maybe once every couple of months and just checking in to see how they're doing. And when I got sick, they made sure that I was taken care of. And they took my wife to the hospital, and they stepped up and did the right thing. So that's all I can ask for.
What the brothers do. It's amazing.
And like I said before, I made 2 smart moves in my life: the Marine Corps and the fire department, and never looked back.
Oh, now you can say 3 coming on the show.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Well, Vinny, when he retires, we'll get him on the show. He can tell stories about me in Proby school.
Frank, you'll definitely get a few phone calls after the show.
I'm sure. I got 50 before the show.
Oh, not on.
So yeah, it was.
All right, Pete. It might be that time, but we got to do a little something first. Right?
Yeah, well, you know what? It is that time of the night, the time for the old school tip of the day. But tonight, the old school tip of the day is sponsored by Firehouse 24/7, built by firefighters. Firehouse 24/7 solves shift scheduling problems with firsthand knowledge of the biggest administration issues faced by the fire department today. Get your overtime shifts, details, and callbacks filled automatically according to your unique department policies and union rules. Expect easy integration with the systems you already use and a first-class customer service experience from the Firehouse 24/7 team. So, schedule a call with the team at firehouse247.com. and get started with your free trial now. Email them at info@firehouse247. That's firehouse247.com. Departments that mentioned they heard about them on the GSE podcast will receive a free 2-month trial of the software.
Free. Who doesn't like free? So listen, guys, all I can say about it is 24/7 is you see that guy in the top right? If you work overtime, don't rely on that guy to put your marks in. Dude, go 24/7. You know what I'm saying? Get paid, will you?
All right. All right.
Now it's Frank's turn. Bring him up.
Stand by, guys, because you know the time. It's time for the old school tip of the day. Take it away, Frank.
All right. I got 2 tips for you guys. I'm sure we've all gone to a job, blown out the windows. You get to the fire door. You got the forceful entry team there. They're looking to force the door. Has anybody ever tried opening the door with the knob? With the handle? The first thing you should try and do is open the door with the handle before you start forcing the door. That's 1 tip. My second tip, as a chauffeur, you put the ladder up. Don't let anybody ever tell you to move that ladder, especially if you're putting somebody in a window. You control that ladder at all times. I put my OV man in a window one day, and this chief come over to me, told me to move the ladder, put the ladder to the roof. I told him I got somebody in there. He goes, I don't care, put the ladder to the roof. I said, Chief, go fuck yourself. The ladder's staying exactly where it is. So that's my second tip of the day.
I like that tip better.
Nice.
So those are my 2 tips.
Very nice.
I've got the jobs where the forceful entry team started putting that ads into the door, started whacking at that ads, and the door was open the whole time. So the first thing you should do is when you get to a job, try to handle first.
Right. Or check that door for heat, Tim.
Or check that door for heat. Exactly. So,
Frank, you exude the fire department and everything about old school firefighting, and I appreciate it because when you speak, it tells stories. It brings me back to that time in the 70s when the fires were rampant and you guys were having a good time and doing your job. And I appreciate you coming on. I appreciate you taking that guy over there next to you under your wing and molding him, because then he passed down. You basically
best probe I ever had.
Good job. You basically,
I got the money coming. Hold on.
What you did for him, he did for us. So you molded us in essence. You know what I mean? Because whatever you passed down to him, he passed down to us.
And then we did that.
I hope
again, it really,
me. Yeah,
we talk about that all the time. Like,
yep.
You wouldn't even realize the names, Frank, that you probably, what you taught him, he taught us, we taught somebody else. And that's
the amount of guys that he's touched without even knowing it. Yeah,
right.
That's amazing.
So,
not touched it appropriately, but touched. You know what I'm talking about.
Is that from?
So let me say this, because I didn't have a chance to say it. When I went off to the big bad rescue, but so now that I got one of my senior guys here, I'm going to say, Frank, I thank you for all you did. You were one of the guys I looked up to when I went to the truck. You were a good teacher, and I appreciate all the knowledge and experience that you imparted on me. I think it made me a better firefighter. And like they said, in turn, I was able to pass that on to some of these younger guys. So I thank you for that.
I can only say that I got it from my senior guys. And as I looked up to them, and they taught me everything I know about the fire department. And unfortunately, not too many of those guys are around. And, I'm like one of the real old guys right now. And eventually my time's going to come. So
this is why it's important that, if stories aren't told and lessons aren't passed on, they don't become history, because they just fall into nothingness and nobody knows about it.
Right.
So, and if I may be so bold as I just want to do a 1 second tip of the day, and this is nothing new. You guys have heard this already.
Hold on a second. Hold on.
No, I don't need the
we
music.
gotta do it.
We do.
Oh, we do.
Oh, yes, we do.
It's time for the old school tip of the day.
Listen, we got to get our money's worth out of Pete. You know what I mean?
Listen, you guys have heard this already, but I preach it. And this is not mine. We heard Tom Brennan, and this has been around. You can never learn too much about a job that can kill you. So it goes to, whether you're on the job or into the job, but become a student of the fire service. And by that, I mean, not only knowing your tactics, knowing your buildings, knowing if you're in an area with frames, you should know everything about the frames. If you're in with tenements, if you're in high rise, not just knowing the tactics, know how they're built, know how the fire spreads, know areas where people tend to make renovations, where they lend themselves to make renovations. Because if you do, you're going to be that much better of a firefighter, and you're going to increase your chances of staying alive in a job that can take your life. So that's all I got to say.
Oh, we got a bonus tip tonight, bro. Excellent job, both of you.
Just
guys.
a tip, just for a second, just to see how it feels.
Whoa, easy. It's a family show here.
Maron. No, that was a good one, Hank. And
Hank, great tip. I appreciate it.
Really good.
And
really
just like
good.
you appreciate Mr. Ancona, Louis and I appreciate everything that you've bestowed on us.
I was going to say this is like 3 generations of firefighters right here on our show tonight, and it's a direct lineage, because I'm positive that there is something that Frank taught you, Hank, that Hank wound up teaching you two guys as well.
Absolutely.
I mean, whether it be something as simple as a technical thing or anything else, I'm sure that spirit has carried through the fire service.
That's why I call him Francis.
And Francis, and that's why, you guys, this is such an important thing what we're doing here by keeping this alive. Because who knows how many more people we've
I want to give an old school tip of the day while I'm at it.
Hold on. It's time for Coobs' old school tip of the day, part 333.
Very simple. I'm just going to say respectfully to Mr. Ancona, pay your electric bill on time because it's mighty dark over there.
He's on a
My
fixed income.
God.
All right, take it
Leave
easy.
the guy alone.
That's the new job, Frank. No respect.
Unbelievable.
Oh, Frank, I had such a good time tonight. I haven't laughed this much and love these stories you told. Rocket the dog, dude. Great stories. Fire stories, funny stories. Talking about Hank when he was a young snot-nosed green kid. Oh, I love it.
Neen34 in the chat is saying that Frank taught Frank, and amen to that.
Yeah,
Frank the Tank.
all right.
Getting back to what I'm saying, I had a real good run, and I miss it all. Believe me, I don't miss going out on the fucking zillion runs a night, but I miss exactly this: the firehouse, the firehouse bullshit. I miss it big time. You have no idea.
I would have loved to sit at the kitchen table with this man because I feel like he's holding back a little bit. This is not the real.
Yeah, no, he's holding
back. Oh, I would love to sit at the table.
Probably, thankfully, so he's holding back a little bit.
It's probably better so that we don't get kicked off of YouTube.
Yeah,
Exactly.
But that's okay. You know what? I'll tell you what. We got the best parts right here, and you guys have now. This will be here for everyone in the future to watch, including, by the way, your son Michael was in the chat tonight, and he was going on and on and on about you, and how even though he didn't become a firefighter, he was so inspired by you and all the men at the firehouse when you took him there.
Yes.
So he
I
was
took
very
him
thankful.
there. One day tour, we had 7 jobs.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
7 all hands.
I was going to ask you too. What's the most jobs you went to in one
The
tour?
busiest night I ever had was the blackout, July 13th.
Oh, you worked that night?
Oh yeah.
We didn't even get half the stories out of them.
Yeah, no, that night we dropped off this guy Kevin Coyle at Brooklyn Jewish Hospital with a generator to feed the preemie ward, and we started putting fires out from 8:45 till 9:00 in the morning.
Holy
Wow.
It was the busiest night I ever had in my life.
Was it like door to door fire?
It was you put one fire out, they say they send you somewhere else. We wound up on Broadway and Kosciuszko in 111's district with our own building. I don't know, for the last 4 hours of the tour, something like that.
Wow.
And then I was doing a 24, and that morning we took a half-hour break, and sure as shit, as soon as our break was over, we get located to 120, and we get a third alarm like 10 o'clock in the morning down on East New York Avenue with fire blowing out like, I don't know, 100 windows. It didn't look like it. I mean, it was just.
Oh my God!
And we were nowhere near the busiest company. I mean, 103 did 10,000 runs, 120 did 10,000 runs, 290 did 10,000 runs. You know, we did.
Did you not blow his head up? Did you not blow his head up already with the?
I was gonna say, like Posa's like already like on the.
But Kevin, they only did half of them. The relocators did the other half of the work.
Oh, good point, Hanky. Good point.
Nice.
Yeah, we were super busy.
To go back to those days.
But I enjoyed every second of it. Believe me.
No
God
doubt.
bless you.
Well, I enjoyed every second of having you on the show tonight, Mr. Ancona.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah.
It was great. Pass it
it
on. Let's get some other guys on here to tell their stories. Let's get that.
Well, I'm sure a lot of guys are watching. I'm sure a lot of guys have a lot to say.
You know what? You got to get Joe Revere on. There's a senior engine guy that's got a wealth of knowledge.
You know what? Joe is probably. Oh man, he's probably one. Well, Joe Hanley's still around.
How old is Joe Revere now?
Joe is 84.
Get him on. Coop's
And let me tell you guys, I ski with guys 2 or 3 years older than me. They're all firemen. I ski with this guy, Tony Palazzola. He's a retired captain. He's 83. He's still skiing and diving. This other guy, Artie Santangelo, he's 81.
Frank, Did you hang out with any like O'Flaherty's or any? What's with all the guineas for Christ?
Oh my God!
Holy crap!
Got to keep them separated. You know what I mean?
Tell them it's the guineas have the staying power. It's those ones that end in an O. They're freaking,
Hey, Ray Rocco! Yeah, Santangelo and Frankie Ancona and Ben Boppo and
By the way, Kevin Malone in the chat coming in shit hot saying that we need to follow the smoke to Coop's apology from Monday night.
It's all right here. I gave cold hard facts. Look,
it is.
Watch
Monday night show.
Ira Hoffman gave me all the facts. Watch Monday night show. All right, we got to move on.
Hey, Louis, let me ask you one question before we.
Yeah.
You in 103, 290. Did you ever come across Ira Trout?
Yes.
You have.
Yes.
Weren't you telling me the story about Ira, Hank?
Yes.
I still owe him about 10 mutuals.
He never wanted to get paid back.
He never wanted to get paid back.
Yeah.
And he was a terrible lawn guy. Don't ever hire him.
Exactly.
All right. You have any shout outs, Pete? What do you got? Louis, anything?
All good here, man. All good here.
Shit, my face got from laughing.
Yeah, I had somebody, but there was somebody from 288. Somebody had sent me, just reached 100 years old. I don't know if I had the information. Let me see if I can find it quick. I forgot about that.
Hank, he's not 100 yet.
Come
on, I got you laughing tonight, Hank. I'm on my game.
I'll find it. I'll do it for next week.
All right. So listen, Monday we got the Firehouse Dolls on. Tune in. We got the Firehouse Dolls Monday. Check it out.
Frank, I was looking forward to your show, but I'm kind of looking forward to their show.
We got the Firehouse Calendar girls from all over the country. The girls who
Look at
yeah, really?
What?
Frank, you should all you need to do is tune in, okay? Don't worry. You can keep the lights dark just like it is now. All by yourself, no big deal.
Oh, good job.
You guys.
All right, that's all I got. I don't got nothing else. What do you got, Pete? Take us out.
Yeah, nothing, man. We're just gonna hang with us, Frank and Hank. We're gonna go through the outros here. Guys, you all know the deal. Listen to us. Listen to the audio version on any of the players, iTunes, Podcast, Spotify, wherever you can find us. If you're here, though, at youtube.com/Gettin Salty Experience, please hit that like, subscribe, and share button. It helps us tremendously to grow the show and get more great guests like Frank. Instagram, guys, you'll find us at Salty Dog Inc., the coolest freaking old school salty ass fire photos in the game that Mr. Refrano is putting in there. He's a buff. He's basically a buff, all right? And I'm just telling you, he gets the coolest pics ever. GettingSaltyApparel.com, guys. If you want to support us, support the show, take a look there. Super chat, man, you guys really came through. Loot 7 in the super chat.
132 bucks.
Oh man, that was Dad Mac. Who knows who that is? But gosh, man, Dad Mac, thank you so much.
Yeah. Guys, every Mondays and Thursdays. Dad Mac, come back every week.
Thank you very, very much. We appreciate it, guys. If you're watching this also and you're hitting that super thanks button, thank you as well. Facebook, guys, we're past 47,000 subs there on Getting Salty Fans. Go check that out. You will have a laugh. You will share info. It's a family now. People are supporting one another on there. It's really great. Check it out. If you like our community, you will love the Getting Salty Fans page. Getting Salty Ads at gmail.com. If you guys want to advertise with the show, we would love to have you. I will give you my spiel. Email me. Getting Salty Experience at gmail.com if you have questions for the show. And last but not least, for our news and views shows like Cocklofts and Cocktails, email coopspodcast@gmail.com. We want your helmet cam footage, not just yours, anybody's. We want your fire photos. We want your hottest old lady contest pics. We want your mustache photos, your tattoo pics, your rig pics, your firehouse pics, all the good stuff. But make sure to tell us who you are, where you're from, and what the story behind the pic is. Don't just send the pic to Coobs unless it's your old lady, and then he won't mind.
I hoard them in.
He hoards those. Yeah, he doesn't give us anything. But guys, that's it. That is all the news that is fit to play.
Hank Molay, thank you for coming on.
Nation.
Thank you for coming on. Ruffy, thanks for coming back. I appreciate
Thanks, buddy.
it,
Thanks, Ruff.
No.
We thought you were
Francis,
on
it was a
permanent
pleasure
vacation.
looking into your life, brother. You
Thank
as
you,
well.
guys. It was a really nice experience. I hope the show went over well, and
It did.
Absolutely.
I enjoyed the shit out of it. I can tell you that much.
hope so.
Frank, from now on, if anyone asks you like who you were and what you did, shoot them the link to this show and tell them,
Oh,
watch
good.
me. I'm on TV. And
There you
you'll
go.
find out who I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's
And
all you need to do.
Pete, get to work on the boss tweet, will you? Are you working on it?
We got to talk about Boss Tweet.
Oh, he's going to tell me, your pictures are no good.
Hey, thank you very much, too, man.
We'll talk about
Thank you
it.
very much.
All right, guys, until Monday, we might, we got the firehouse dolls. So control yourself, will you? And be respectful.
Mm.
All right, we'll see you. Stay low and go.
All right, everybody. We'll see you at the big one.
Stay
All
well.
Hang loose, Frank.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Nobody's coming. It's up to us. Stay strong and have a good night, everyone.